Hello everyone, it is Cynthia with your daily tarot card of the day. This week we're not using tarot. We've been using this beautiful Angel Oracle deck. So I'm going to take a moment to tune into the general collective energies of the day and spirit to bring you some messages. Please, from these timeless messages, take what resonates and leave the rest behind. And tune into your own intuition, your own inner guidance, higher self, spirit guides, so that whatever card comes up, you might receive your own personal messages and insights as well. Today's energy, spirit, what is it that you would like us to know? They'd like me to know that I need to shuffle one more time before cutting cards. Fabulous. Yes? Yes. Alrighty. Remliel, number 29, Awakening. That's beautiful. Yeah, there's been this whole process this week. The way that the energies seem to have been flowing this week, there's been a lot of shifts, and there could have been some challenges coming up from your own, either from within and or within your own sphere of influence, in terms of, like, you know, your life, your circumstances and situations. There could have also been a lot going on around you, and you kind of felt like maybe you were in the eye of the storm, where it's affecting you only insofar as I have to wait for this to blow over before I can go out, kind of a thing. Or affecting you insofar as, wow, that's a whole lot, and I feel like on some level, you know, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, maybe I'm processing sort of the witnessing or the observation of that energy, and yet at the same time, it's not, I'm not directly involved in it. I'm engaged more so from afar. So it does have a minor influence, and yet at the same time, you know, possibly recognizing that there's a collective influence. So with that energy being here this week, we can recognize how different things are shifting, as within, so without, as above, so below, right? At the week that I'm recording this, we actually have a lot of astrological activity going on, and season change, and, you know, seasons changing, signs changing, full moon, and other, you know, transiting planets and retrogrades that are moving between signs and things of that nature. So it has been energetically and vibrationally a full week for the universe. We've seen it probably socially and collectively on planet Earth in a lot of ways. And then we've probably seen it in our immediate, you know, sphere of influence. Things going on with family and friends, or in our neighborhoods or communities, or in our workplace. And while we can feel like things are changing in our life, we could be very confident and or satisfied with the way certain things are progressing in ourselves or in our own lives, as far as the day-to-day is concerned. But the energies, the bigger energies that are shifting, you know, we're kind of witnessing it and then saying, well, and sort of processing that witnessing. So this week has had a lot of that energy. And at the same time, I feel like there have been pinnacle moments where big energy has been shifting within individuals, right? So any of you watching, you may have noticed that there's been large scale shifts of energy, and while you don't feel like they're directly influencing you, you've had your moments this week where you've had big shifts. You've had some inspiration or aha moments or conclusions or something opening up, new opportunity, or after all of this time, that door that was stuck finally opened for me. And now I can walk through, maybe some processing or some preparations, right? Been preparing yourself to do certain things so that as information or resource or something came through, you would be prepared to then take that and put it here, directed towards your own next steps, personally, spiritually, creatively, in any of those ways. And so what this says to me, as we, again, these messages are timeless, so it doesn't matter when you catch it, but we're closing out our 7-day stretch. So this is actually the 7th card that I've pulled from this deck, and we'll be switching to a new deck tomorrow at the time that I'm recording this. But it feels like a week, a stretch of time, in this instance, the past 7 days or so, a lot's gone on, and it's come to this culmination point. So there's a huge up level of energy, and that this is showing up in a general collective reading. I want to say, like, it's for all of us. So you're going to feel it. You could definitely be feeling like you're in the middle of a part of your awakening process, on a spiritual and self-development level. You could feel the energy of healing moving through you, and that then rippling out into your life and into your circumstances with these changing energies around your personal sphere of influence. But you could also be recognizing that the larger shifts are still influencing your vibration, even though in relationship to them you might be in more of an observer or witness or processor, outside processor type of a position, where you're not necessarily directly influenced by it in an immediate sense, right? The fact that this is coming up for a general collective reading also makes me think that these bigger things that are going on around us, these larger things that are going on around us, again, as above, so below. I'm feeling like the astrological impact of the energies, and the seasonal changes, and the lunar phases might be having a direct influence, whether or not we associate it that way. But if you're watching this channel, or if you're watching this video, chances are you do make an association between the astrology or the natural phases of seasons and lunar cycles or something of that nature. Even the solar flares and the space weather we've been having recently seems to have profoundly impacted some of these larger energies. And so I'm feeling this awakening, up-leveling process, this larger shift of energy as being significant. And with today's energy, you, the viewer, might be seeing or sensing something that you thought wasn't going to have a direct influence actually show up for you in some fashion and have a more profound influence than maybe you had first thought. So this could be something in your community. This could be something astrologically, like, oh, I haven't, read a horoscope or checked astrological transits in a long time. Maybe I'll take a look at that. Or, there could be a solar storm that actually, influences, say, a power grid or something, and you end up feeling that. Not just because it influences the power grid and now you can't turn on your stuff, your electronics or something, but like, but you could actually then also like feel it, physically, to an extent. So grounding, being in nature might be important today, but also like taking a look and observing what larger influences that maybe you hadn't checked up on recently or didn't think were having an impact. Like you might not recognize that a transiting planet could be specifically influencing you today. Or maybe there is a lunar cycle and you can, this evening, go outside and do a meditation where you have, a sense or a view of the moon, and you might be tapping into that phase. If it's a waning phase or if it's a new moon, you might not see it very clearly, but you can sense that energy. And if you're sitting there in the darkness for a few minutes, you can sort of feel the cleansing. You can intentionally receive a cleansing that kind of drains any stuck energy from you, and that can be very healing experience, and clarifying experience. Likewise, if it's a waxing moon or a full moon, you might be able to see it more clearly. It could be a little bit higher in the sky, and that light, you could feel charged up, you could feel energized with that moonlight. So giving yourself the opportunity to take a look at that. So again, something about the energy today, and I want to reiterate, as within, so without, as above, so below. I feel like you're at a point where you can recognize and integrate these connections and your role in witnessing, observing, processing, shifting, changing. There's something about all of this that's kind of clicking into place. There's an opportunity to feel some things clicking into place, both within your smaller sphere of influence and with a greater expansion of that sphere of influence, even if that expansion is merely on a spiritual or energetic level. You know what I mean? But there could be things, depending upon what you're involved with or what your profession is or what you enjoy doing or this, that, the other thing, there could be a larger scale, very direct influence that you can have on things. But go with your inspirations, recognizing the connections. I feel like this is important energy shift today, and you might feel it. So recognize where you are within that, and allow yourself to stabilize there, and enjoy your day. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you a lot of peace and blessings, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.